Well, it's been 4 months since the Norfolk Southern train carrying toxic chemicals derailed in East Palestine, and things are far from over. In fact, starting tomorrow, executives of chemical companies, union officials, railroad lobbyists, and federal investigators will be heading to the area for a 2-day field hearing about the causes and effects of the disaster. Many residents who've been harmed will be speaking up in an effort to try to get some of their concerns heard and their needs met. Many of them have felt forgotten about. But they're not forgotten. There are still people concerned for the well-being. With us now is Joy Marie Mann. She is an organizer, activist, writer, and journalist with a show called Savage Joy, and is a lead national organizer with March for Medicare for All. And next Monday, she's holding a fundraiser for the people of East Palestine. Joy, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Let's first talk about how people are doing. It's been 4 months. And again, the news cycle, people just forget about the disaster that happened in East Palestine. Can you give us some updates of how the people there are doing and why you're holding the fundraiser?
So the people there are still in a lot of amount of financial pain. They're suffering medically still to this day. We're going on 5 months shortly. A lot of them are still taking baths in bottled water. It's bad.
Wow.
A lot of them are testing positive for vinyl chloride in very high amounts. And the testing to see if you have vinyl chloride is $700 per test, and insurance covers not a single penny of it. So many people obviously cannot get tested. The median income in East Palestine is $29,000, and that is per household. So I'm talking to families of 4 and now their income has, gotten lower because of, what the community is going through. So definitely a lot of suffering monetarily, but also there are things like, they said they were going to set up a free clinic, and now some people are getting billed for that so-called free clinic. People are being lied to continually. They are being told, one woman I spoke with was told, well, we don't know if this is vinyl chloride in your system because we're not aware of the drugs you have taken before this test.
Oh, wow.
That's the
Wow.
treatment they're getting. When they reach out for help, they're being talked about and being overheard, with people saying these people just want a handout. They're being treated absolutely horribly, and they're getting zero assistance. They each got a $1,000 stipend that they later had to claim on their taxes. And many of them are still staying in hotels because their homes are not safe. So
Yeah.
these homes they've lived in for 3 generations that have all their memories and so many family stories in them, they haven't even set foot in them for 4 months and can't even go back to get their photos and things that matter because everything is contaminated.
Do we know how many people right now are going through this? Do you have a number?
I've been told over 2,000,
Okay.
because
So,
also the people in East Palestine aren't the only people. I'm in Pennsylvania, and we have a town called Darlington, which is outside of Pittsburgh, but it's right on the border of where East Palestine, Ohio is. And they're suffering greatly as well. They're only 7 miles away.
mm,
They're also in desperate need of water and horrible air quality. And so a lot of people think it's this concentrated area, but when it comes to plumes of chemicals, there are no borders. It
right.
continues to go in surrounding areas.
Right. Yeah. I mean, water moves and air moves. And so it, of course, would go and contaminate a bunch of other areas. What is this fundraiser that you're putting together?
So I am with March for Medicare for All. We are doing a fundraiser to raise money for mutual aid for the people in East Palestine and surrounding areas. The biggest thing I get when I speak to residents of East Palestine and surrounding areas is we need water because they're drinking it, they're cooking in it, and as I said, some are still bathing in it. And their area is pretty much out of water because everyone keeps buying it. So we've rented a U-Haul, but we need the funds to fill it. So we are doing a rally in East Palestine, July 22nd, and we need water, groceries. We're going to bring pallets of water so that people can just come and get it by the cases. And then people in Darlington reached out to me and they said, can you maybe bring us water too? And I was like, absolutely. So now we need kind of double the money to bring more water to them. But as an activist, you're not going to say no. So this fundraiser is because we are really, really hurting. Not We haven't had a donation in 10 days.
Okay.
And we're pushing, we're saying even $5 would give a family an entire case of water. That $5 would make a huge difference. We're at $825 that we've raised, and our goal is 5,000. 5,000 is actually pretty conservative, considering a pallet of water is over $800. So we're shooting low, but it still seems like it's just not getting where we need it to be, especially being a month away.
Yeah.
So I reached out to some wonderful people, and they were willing to come and join this fundraiser we're doing Monday. People like Lee Camp, Stephen Donziger, Scott C. Smith, who is an independent water tester who has been to East Palestine 8 times to take it upon himself to test the chemicals, and a doctor and people from all different professions to speak with us about what's going on. And then, of course, residents from East Palestine.
Wow. Okay. So yeah. So you need some money. You've got to raise a little bit more money. So you're at
We
$825. You need
are.
$5,000 is what you're hoping to get. Hopefully we can help with that. Even here right now, I know you're doing your fundraiser on Monday, but hopefully people can go to the site. Is there an easy link to the site? I'm going to have it. It's down below. So if people want to click on it, it's right there. But I see it's a givesendgo.com. And then is there like I see a /GA9PE. I don't know if that's the right one
Yeah, I'm not sure
that
what
I'm
that
looking at
is.
right here.
It's kind of
Yeah.
random that they just ascribe
Well, at
to it.
least
But
it's not
the
too bad
easiest thing
though.
is
Could
you
be
can
worse,
also
right?
just go to m4all.org,
Okay.
number 4.
Okay. So we'll have that link. So m4m4all.org, and that is where people can go to get the link to donate some money on this Give Send Go campaign. Even just $5, $10, anything that you can give would really help out these people that are needing some clean water to cook with, bathe with, drink, obviously. So this is going for a really good cause. We should be showing the people of East Palestine that they're not forgotten, and that this is a good way to help them realize that America still cares about them. We know about that disaster. It's terrible. We hope people are held accountable. I know that they're going there and they're going to be talking and investigating, but who knows what's even going to come of that these next couple of days when they do this 2-day long event, investigation or something. I guess they're bringing in the executives from chemical companies, and they're going to have lobbyists there, and the trained people and federal investigators and whatnot. And so they're supposed to be looking at what caused this and how do we prevent this, and maybe even what the ramifications are for the people. So hopefully they get to some answers. I don't know. I mean, but you're saying that they're not being treated well. They're not getting answers.
They're not, and they're being lied to by their government, the
Right.
EPA, and they are absolutely bought by Norfolk Southern, and Norfolk Southern is doing things like having Easter egg hunts and cookouts and carnivals on the contaminated soil to literally get things back to normal, as they say. So that's the kind of things they're putting that money into, not actually helping the people.
Yeah.
Um, so they are desperate, and I've had East Palestine residents literally call me sobbing, saying, "I can't get out of bed anymore. I don't even want to get out of bed in the morning because I know it's just another day of fighting and not being listened to." And
Oh,
it's
man.
heartbreaking. And also the number one thing I keep trying to stress is that there's something called 1881A, which is actually in Obamacare, that states anyone in an environmental disaster can get immediate full coverage health care, 100% paid for.
Hmm.
And that means we could have gotten it during COVID. That means people in Flint. That means East Palestine. Anyone who is dealing with any kind of environmental disaster is entitled to free health care per 1881A. So I've been trying to educate the people in East Palestine this. So that is one of our demands. Unfortunately, the mayor and governor are completely bought and useless and refuse to even declare a state of emergency. And just they're just hoping it goes away. And
Mm.
it kind of is, honestly, because a lot of people just aren't covering it. It's not as
Right.
sexy anymore. There's other flashy objects that have come about. So March for Medicare for All and myself are just really trying to get the word out that they are able to get this immediate health care, and they deserve this immediate health care. It already happened in Libby, Montana, because of asbestos in the air, and they still have that health care right now.
Hmm.
Biden could do an executive order today. He's just simply choosing not to. So that's one of our demands.
Why do you think the Biden administration is doing nothing about this? I mean, is it because these voters were Trump voters or something? Do you think that has something to do with it?
I don't think so. I think it's just the monetary connections. He is so bought, and many of his donors are bought, and many of his donors probably have stock in Norfolk Southern, and it is always about money, always.
Yeah.
So, and I think well, he's just not a good person. I'll say it politely. And he just has no conscience. So I think that's part of it. But then also, I know one of the things that's very frustrating about the whole, they are a Trump country down there. East Palestine supports Trump. But when people say things like that, it's so disgusting, because what that is saying is that only certain people deserve clean water, only certain people deserve health care. And that is absolutely awful. When we say Medicare for all, we literally mean all. Who people vote for is 100% irrelevant when it comes to human rights issues. And that's exactly what healthcare, water, environment, those are human rights issues,
Right.
not necessarily political ones.
Yeah, I've heard that a bit. Some people saying, well, these people don't deserve Medicare for all because they voted against it. Or these people are the ones who voted against, they voted for Trump and Trump caused the derailment because he deregulated something to do with the brakes of the train. It's just this sort of logic of, well, because you didn't vote for it, you no longer deserve it. And it's like, well,
Right.
people usually vote for something because they're hoping everybody gets that thing that they voted for or doesn't get the thing that they didn't vote for or whatever, right? But that's kind of the logic
Right.
that I've heard. While I have you,
And
Joy, for one, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, and I mean, if we're going to be fair, then Biden doesn't want Medicare for all either. So Biden country, sorry, you're the same as Trump
Right,
country. I guess you
right,
don't get it either.
right. So again, the website m4m4all.org, and that is how you can get to this Give, Send, Go campaign to help donate to the residents of East Palestine, give them some clean water. And this is just a really great thing that you're doing, Joy. Before I let you go, I do want to ask you, because you are the a lead organizer for Medicare for All, for the March for Medicare for All. So we are in the election cycles beginning, right? We've got all these presidential candidates. There's a bunch on the Republican side that are running. There's a handful of Democrats, well, just three, I think, Democrats, right? You've got Joe Biden, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and Marianne Williamson. So I'm curious, which candidate do you think is best for your cause of Medicare for All?
If we're talking only Medicare for all, Marianne Williamson. She's the only one who has come out in favor of it. Robert F. Kennedy was asked it as a yes or no question. He stumbled and said, well, it's not feasible and stuff. Wrong answer. So if we're talking solely about Medicare for all, Marianne, hands down, she's been a longtime supporter of ours and was our keynote in 2021 and has written countless articles. She's had many, many discussions with me about the importance of it. And I know her fight for it. And I
Mm-hmm.
would never, ever, ever even consider voting for or supporting someone who was not adamant that that
Yeah.
is absolutely necessary.
Right, that Medicare for all is. I think with RFK Jr., his point was we can't have it right now because we have too much. There's money in politics that we have to root out first. So I think he was kind of saying, when listening to his stance on that a little bit to try to make sense of it, it was, look, there's a lot of nice things we wish we could have. We can't have anything because the corporate capture of regulators and of the government, and we've got to get rid of that. And that's numero uno. And then after that, we can get into healthy debates about should we do this or should we not do that, or what is it that we want. And when we get the money out of politics, then we can actually do those things. Do you think that's a fair way of thinking?
I don't. I think it's very incrementalist, and I think it's very privileged for someone to say, let's hurry up and wait. We can't do it now. Yes, we can. We actually can. And over 200,000 people have recently died because of having no insurance or being underinsured. So people are being essentially murdered by the insurance industrial complex, and anything less than we need this now is unacceptable.
All right, Joy Marie Mann, thank you so much for joining us. You could check her out. Savage Joy is the show. You could find that on YouTube. Are you anywhere? Are you other places besides YouTube?
And
Or are you
Rockfin.
mostly that? YouTube and Rockfin. Okay, great, great. Thank you so much for joining the show, and good luck with this
Thank
fundraiser.
you. Thank you so much.
What's going to happen with the dollar? Many people are very worried about it because the world just seems to be shifting a bit. You've got a lot of countries that are saying, we don't really want to do trade just in dollars anymore. Can't we use our own currency? Or many are saying maybe we could use the Chinese yuan or maybe something else. So people are really worried about the future of their retirement accounts. But the fact is, there's one asset that has withstood economic upheaval and has a history of being incredibly stable, and that is gold. And you can own it in a tax-sheltered retirement account with the help of Birch Gold. Birch Gold will help you convert an existing IRA or 401k, maybe from a previous employer, into an IRA in gold. And the best part, you don't pay a penny out of pocket. Just visit birchgold.com/Kim for your free info kit. They're going to hold your hand through the whole process. Birch Gold has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and thousands of happy customers. So visit birchgold.com/Kim to get your free info kit on gold.